what will happen before 2120. Much of the technology that we have today would have been inconceivable a century ago, but as history has continuously shown, things that were once thought impossible can become an everyday reality. So what sorts of amazing tech could await us in our near future? This is Unveiled, and today we're answering the extraordinary question, what will happen before the year 2120? Are you a fiend for facts? Are you constantly curious? Then why not subscribe to Unveiled for more clips like this one, and ring the bell for more fascinating content. Generally speaking, the technology that's available to us increases year on year at an exponential rate, which makes sense for the most part because technological innovation usually occurs via the technology made possible during the previous round of innovation. So the better our tech becomes, the better we are at creating newer and even more innovative products, with some market estimates even claiming that computers in just 10 years' time could be 1,000 times more advanced than what we currently have. In October 2019, Google announced that one of its quantum computers had achieved quantum supremacy by solving a particular equation, one that would take a traditional computer over 10,000 years to complete in less than 3.5 minutes. The practical applications of the achievement aren't yet known, and it's still thought that we're a long way from everyday quantum computing. But when you consider that the computer in general is only a few decades old, and yet today millions of people own handheld smart devices, millions of times more powerful than what NASA had available at the time of the moon landing, it's clear that in the next 100 years a lot can change, and will change. So what should we be expecting? For one, our health and longevity is set to improve, with a growing focus on CRISPR technology to enhance our survivability. Gene editing is already here, being used for a variety of forward-thinking projects like attempts to remove malaria from mosquitoes, to create super plants that are resistant to insects and disease, and even to treating blindness in some animals. But similar CRISPR uses have also started to emerge directly involving humans. A bid by the University of Pennsylvania to treat cancer patients via CRISPR tech has already made headlines, while there have also been reports of gene editing being used in the UK to successfully remove cancer in at least one case. The approach is still very much in its infancy, but it is representative of a general push to take back control against all diseases that threaten the human body, to beat them before we even develop them, especially at a time when antimicrobial resistance is considered a major threat to life. The ongoing and intensifying ethical debate surrounding designer babies shows that there's also a darker aspect to a prospective future world where gene editing is the norm, however. As with most advancing technologies, there will also be a moral balance to be struck. It's an issue affecting other near-future tech aiming not only to make us healthier, but to make us smarter too. Elon Musk has already revealed his plans for Neuralink, an implantable brain-machine interface that will allow humans to think and process faster than ever before by connecting their brain to a type of computer, with plans to test the device inside a sample of humans slated for the early 2020s. On a simple level, if AI brain implants work and take off, they'd be a major first step in artificially increasing our own mental capacities and abilities. More specifically though, they could usher in the age of telepathy. Futurist Ian Pearson believes the likelihood of this happening by at least 2100 is 10 out of 10, while there's a growing general consensus that synthetic telepathy is no longer pure science fiction, but actually a fast-approaching real-world possibility. For those backing telepathy tech, we could soon be making literal mental notes to ping backwards and forwards between ourselves, as simply as sending messages online, as our brains more closely merge with our devices. Again, there's a dark side wherein telepathy renders traditional means of communication, like face-to-face conversation, redundant, and where everyone's brains become vulnerable to digital hacks and security breaches. But there's also an argument that this level of development is actually necessary for the human race so that it can keep up with the potential capabilities of artificial intelligence. Unsurprisingly, AI is set to have a massive impact on the next century, using advances like the Google quantum computer as a starting point, where traditional computer processing is replaced by seamless millisecond transitions. In a century, the gap between artificial and organic could well have significantly closed. For decades, the Turing test has been held as the ultimate obstacle for an AI, but now more and more computers are reportedly passing it, and there's a new endpoint in sight, the AI singularity. The AI singularity is the concept that artificial intelligence will one day come to a point where it is able to consistently create better and more intelligent versions of itself without the need for human input, creating an irreversible technological boom that's truly impossible to stop. For the US inventor and futurist Ray Kurzweil, it's something that could occur as soon as 2045, when he believes robots may even be indistinguishable from humans in some cases. The positives? With AI to assist us in everyday tasks, we'd be reaching levels of efficiency never before possible. And with the prospect of AI essentially inventing itself, actual human beings would be left with more time and opportunity for other pursuits. The negatives? Well, the rise of the robots is a popular theme in dystopian science fiction for a reason. Here's another facet of future life where achieving a balance is key. But whether the robots rise up to help or hinder us, the next 100 years look set to be dominated by other environmental concerns as well. Fears surrounding climate change and global warming have taken hold within the last few decades, with various national governments making pledges and setting deadlines for when they hope to be carbon neutral, or even carbon negative. In 2019, for example, the British government committed to net zero carbon emissions by 2050. We'll know by 2120 whether targets like this were met, but if nothing changes, then scientists are promising a bleak outlook. According to NASA measurements, the average global temperature has increased by 0.8 degrees Celsius since 1880, but the majority of that increase has happened since 1975. For climatologists, the concern is that this quicker increase will continue into the next century until the temperature becomes unmanageable or even unsurvivable. In general, the planet could look very different within the next 100 years. Thanks to melting ice caps, the U.S. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration foresees a sea level rise of at least 0.3 meters by the end of the century. Meanwhile, a 2019 study by scientists at the University of Bristol claims sea levels could rise by as much as 2 meters by 2100. The estimates do vary, but most projections warn of the water increase causing major disruption, particularly in coastal regions like the U.S. state of Florida, for example, which, according to some estimates, has a 100% chance of being flooded by sea surges within the next 100 to 150 years. According to a 2019 analysis conducted by 24/7 Wall Street, many other parts of the U.S. alone are expected to experience mass flooding within a century, including parts of New England, Georgia, and Texas. Right now, around 71% of Earth's surface is covered in water, but if the most severe projections are met, then that figure is set to change, turning our planet into a slightly bluer place as the oceans reach further and further inland. For some, the potential changes to our environment could even necessitate fleeing from Earth entirely. With or without an ecological crisis, though, space travel is another aspect of our lives set for significant process over the next few generations. And proposed missions to Mars are among the most exciting initiatives in front of us. If targets laid out by various space agencies, including NASA and private aerospace firms, come to fruition, then by 2120 we should have built a permanent base on the red planet. The European Space Agency and the Chinese National Space Administration both reportedly plan on going to Mars somewhere between 2040 and 2060, although the head of SpaceX, Elon Musk, hopes to have a permanent Martian base, called Mars Base Alpha, by as soon as 2028. Meanwhile, NASA's Artemis program aims to begin setting up a permanent base on the Moon by 2028. And both Russians' Roscosmos and Japan's JAXA reportedly plan to begin building on the lunar surface by 2030. If those earliest goals are met, then really the Moon and Mars could even be old news in 100 years' time, as humanity becomes inspired by its past achievements and starts to look further and further out into the solar system. Just as parts of our everyday lives may have been unthinkable to those living in 1920, we're set to see all manner of change play out over the next century. From technological innovations to ecological challenges, Earth will be a very different place. So different, in fact, that humanity may well have branched away from this planet in an accelerated quest to explore others. And that's what could happen before 2120. What do you think? Is there anything we missed? Let us know in the comments, check out these other clips from Unveiled, and make sure you subscribe and ring the bell for our latest content.